Balance is an often overlooked aspect of creating the prosperity we deserve and desire. On Earth, we've learned to overvalue the aggressive, assertive male energy, and we've learned to undervalue the passive, observant, patient female energy. However, this imbalance can actually thwart the creative process. We see this when we talk too much and listen too little, when we do too much and rest too little, and when we focus on doing rather than being. We also see this in nature. For example, when we're making bread, we have to use the male energy to buy the ingredients, to mix the ingredients, to knead the dough, and to place it in a pan. However, we also need the female energy of patience and observance to observe the bread rising. And once we put it in the oven, the female energy is the patient energy that allows the bread to rise and bake even more. And too much male energy, slamming the door open and closed on the oven, can make the bread fall. And this thwarts the creative process. Now, we know when there's an overabundance of male energy because we feel a forcing current or an anxiety. And that forcing current or that anxiety may be a mask for a sense of lack within. Now, that inner emotion of lack that creates that forcing current and that anxiety is actually the energy that we're using to create, so we're going to manifest more lack because our emotions are what we use to manifest our good or that which we don't desire. So balance is extremely important. When you feel anxious, when you feel nervous, when you feel doubtful, sit. Allow the grace of God to envelop you. Sit. Listen to the voice of God. Sit. Observe what you're feeling, what you're going through. Sit and ask, what is the truth I need to know right now in order to allow my good? And this brings balance back into the process. And B is for balance. This is an excerpt from my book, Prosperity from A to Z. Hi, and thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it to be useful. Here's more information that you might find to be useful as well.
Tell us about it.
It's called Radical, Radical, Radical. Radical forgiveness, deservingness, and manifestation. Because if you want radical results, you might have to make some radical changes. So this class is a class on Monday and Thursday nights, mostly channeled. What this class will do is help us to get to that place of radical self-forgiveness so that we are in oneness. And when we are in that radical forgiveness, we place ourselves in a state of deservingness. And when we feel deserving of what we choose to manifest, we can manifest it easily. So forgiveness creates deservingness, and deservingness facilitates manifestation. So if you want to manifest your good, get into a state of forgiveness, which puts you in a state of deservingness, which makes manifestation effortless. And I want to testify to this because there is so much light on the earth right now. And so many of us are achieving a higher level of mastery. And we're all being called higher. That many of the people taking my classes have started noticing how they are manifesting instantaneously because the barriers to manifestation have been dissolved. So this 8-week class on Mondays and Thursdays helps us to dissolve those barriers to manifestation, forgiveness, deservingness, and manifestation. And if you can't make it to the classes to participate, ask your questions, and experience the healing real time, it's on Zoom and it's recorded, so you get the recordings. So there are many options to avail yourself to this. And many of the people who are in my classes can testify that it has changed their lives.